Hello there and welcome to this video. I'm going to be talking about demons. I've got a few of mine here. This is my daughter's version of Rotigus. I've got my Chorus Fate Weaver to accompany me. I have my favourite Great Demon of Khorne, the one with a huge axe, and possibly the best model that Games Workshop's ever produced, the Keeper Secrets, which is just fantastic. Right, so this video we're going to be talking about how to build a list for the Chaos Demons. Now, Demons of Chaos I'm really excited about in terms of how they play out in the meta, because actually this book, this free PDF, contains essentially 4 army lists, which is just wonderful. So we're essentially building lists around 2k. I hear there's a debate about 1999 plus 1. I'm going to do that in a separate video. There are a few sort of interesting quirks that people have been talking about that I'll probably have a chat about in a shed talk in the future. I'm not doing a shed talk today, but yeah, I'll get back in the shed and start working on my Khemri again soon. Just waiting for some bases for various models, and I need an adapter for my multi-tool. Sorry if I sound a bit weird. I just got an ulcer on the side of my tongue. It's quite painful. Right. So when you're building an army list, and you know, as a tournament player, you know that your opponent is going to bring certain things, or you're going to play 3 to 5 games. And your opponents are going to bring a certain array of stuff. So there's a certain array of questions that your army list has to answer. It's a bit like an exam. So you know that throughout a tournament, or if you're just having a pickup game with somebody and you don't know what they're taking, then you know there's probably going to be a level 4 wizard that you're going to have to deal with. There's probably going to be, if it's a competitive list, there's probably going to be a big monster that you're going to have to deal with. There's probably going to be a lot of chaff that you're going to have to clear out of the way, and there's probably going to be at least one, if not more, units that are pretty tanky and are essentially a DPS question. So can you burn through this thing before it destroys whatever you've sent to burn through it? So in my opinion, well, I say, well, I need to say the thing before I second guess myself. So, but in my opinion, I think that single god lists are the way to go with Demons of Chaos. There is a kind of mixed god list. If you wanted to insert units into a variety of lists, there are some units in the Demons of Chaos army list that are pretty universal. The one that springs to mind are Beasts of Nurgle, because you can't flank them. So if you've got a really good kind of infantry list that you don't want to get flanked, having a couple of Beasts of Nurgle to kind of sit on the flanks to stop your opponent from being able to get around you easily anyway, allowing the centre of your force to do the work, then you know that's an option. But anyway, so what can you take in your list? Well, you can take 0 to 1 Greater Demon, full stop. 0 to 1 Herald per unit with the same demonic alignment. So if you've got a load of units of Bloodletters, you can take Heralds of Khorne to your heart's content. Then you're allowed 0 to 1 Demon Prince per 1,000 points. With some factions, you might want to actually do the Demon Prince, but I think Heralds are pretty good. Essentially, whoever the Greater Demon is, they're going to be the general, right? Apart from if you take so Demon Princes have the same leadership as a Greater Demon, and as you'll recall, the general of your army must be the model with the highest leadership. So if you've got a Greater Demon, I think they're all leadership 9 or 10 or something. Demon Princes are the same leadership as Greater Demons. So you could take a Demon Prince. You would more or less have to give your Demon Prince a mark, because Furies are a bit rubbish. If you don't have a mark on your Demon Prince and your Demon Prince is a general, then you can't take any of the normal demons as core choices. So that, unless you've got a ton of Furies and you want to have a go at some kind of Fury based list, which would be quite cool, but it would lose battles. Yeah, it just would. So, and basically, if you've got like a Bloodthirster, like this guy, then your Bloodlessers and Fleshhounds become core choices, your Blood Crushers become special, and yeah, that's rare. You can take Skull Cannons. Skull Cannons are a bit kind of... I'm not sure where I stand on Skull Cannons, to be honest, because the rules are quite good and they are quite cool models, but like, it's Khorne. You shouldn't be shooting people. That's not really Khorne's way. But anyway, for some reason they designed a cannon for Khorne to use, bizarrely. Right, so I'm just going to work through this like one god at a time, and then have a go at making a list that in fact, have I even made any? I've made some lists already. So this is me theory crafting. So let's go through these lists and talk about what the stuff does, and let's see if I can tweak it a little bit. Now, Khorne have gone for a Demon Prince. Okay. No, this is a terrible list. No, I'm just actually, this list is rubbish. I'm just going to get rid of it. How do I get rid of it? Do I delete? Yeah. Slaanesh, that's 1870. That's nowhere near finished. I'll get rid of that as well. Have I done Tzeentch or Nurgle? No. Cool. Right, so let's do a new list. Let's go for Demons of Chaos, and let's go for Khorne Diamonds. There we go. 2,000 points. Cool. So you need a Bloodthirster. You need a Herald, because your Herald is going to be a Locust. Pardon me. The reason you always take a Locust is because it gets the Locust special rule, which is on page 32 of this particular document. So it's about there. Or is it there? There we go. And essentially, so how do demons work? It's probably worthwhile talking about that. So when a unit with instability loses a round of combat, they're unbreakable for starters, but before they give ground, it's got to take a leadership check, and basically it's a bit like a break test. So you take a normal leadership check and then you add combat res to the result of your leadership check, and for every point, so for instance, if your leadership is, I don't know, 8, you've lost combat by 3, you take a leadership check and you roll a 7, you add 3 to that result because you lost the combat by 3, and you get a result of 10. Your leadership is 8, so 10 less 8 is 2. So that means you suffer 2 further wounds. So it's wounds, not models. So for instance, Blood Crushers that have multiple wounds, they're still okay. Probably. The worst of this is if you roll a natural double 6, then the entire unit just gets deleted. If you're within range, within 12 inches of a locus, now it says 12 inches, it doesn't say command range, okay? But anyway, so if you're within 12 inches of a locus, that double 6 effect doesn't happen, and also you reduce the number of wounds suffered due to demonic instability by 1, which is really good. So everybody's going to want some form of demonic locus. That's just, it's pretty much certain. the Herald because you want him to be out and about and sort of being able to rapidly redeploy. You want that on a Juggernaut, if I'm being honest. So that's your characters. This is the bare bones of the list. I always go for like General, Battle Standard Bearer. They're the first two things I think about. Let's get the points sort of locked in. We'll add stuff to them later. Then the other thing is we've got obligatory choices in terms of core. What are we going to take for core? Now, Old World Builder isn't quite accurate yet. If I go General, does that change it? No. So it's not quite accurate yet. You've got Furies, they're part of your normal roster. But in terms of Khorne, you've got Bloodletters or Fleshhounds. Just by a kind of a lore thing, each Chaos God has a magic number. 6 is Slaanesh, 7 is Nurgle, 8 is Khorne, 9 is Tzeentch. So you see this kind of numeric symmetry play out quite a bit. 5 is actually Malal, which is the Chaos God that they kind of stopped talking about because copyright issues, to be honest. Another Nurgle also has a magic number 3, so it has 3 and 7, so Nurgle has 2 magic numbers, but whatever. So anyway, we're talking about Khorne. So we want some Bloodletters because they are pretty good in terms of like combat infantry. If we go back to Bloodletters, where the hell are they gone? Now the cool thing about this PDF is that they've done it by God. So you've got the Bloodthirster, the Herald, the Mount for the Herald, and then you've got your core choices, and then you've got your special choice, and then you've got the Blood Throne thing, and Skull Cannon thing, and then it's on to Nurgle, which repeats the same thing. So if you're taking a single God list, which again I'd recommend just picking one, it's just easier. And actually, none of the infantry is really much better than the other. So we've got the Bloodletters. Movement 5, that's quite quick. Most infantry's 4. Apart from Elves, which are 5. Elves always are special. The Toughness 3, so they're pretty weak. But they do have Weapon Skill 5, which is excellent for normal infantry. The Heavy Infantry, so a full rank is 4. So 12 makes essentially a 4x3 block. And you get your 2 ranks there, so 12's a decent unit size for Bloodletters. Arguably 16 is pretty good because you can make a 4x4 block, and that looks alright. Yeah, Close Order, Demonic, Demons of Khorne, Impetuous. Now, actually, before I move on, there's no bookmarks on this. It's probably worthwhile looking at the special rules. So Demons of Khorne, so basically Khorne hates Slaanesh, Slaanesh hates Khorne, Nurgle hates Tzeentch, Tzeentch hates Nurgle. Demons of Khorne, after they made a charge move, get +1 strength. Demons of Nurgle essentially force your opponent to reroll 6s to hit because they're covered in flies. Demons of Slaanesh get +1 to their charge and increase their maximum possible charge range by 1 inch. That's really super good. And Demons of Slaanesh get +1 to casting roll, which is amazing. Slaanesh and Tzeentch, I think, come out of this really rosy. But I'm going to do Khorne and then Nurgle first. Nurgle are pretty good. They've got a lot of defensive buffs, but anyway, whatever. So essentially, Khorne are a bit stronger when they charge. +1 to strength characteristic. Apart from high toughness things, that's effectively +1 to wound rolls. Demons of Nurgle, that could be better. -1 to hit would be way better, but in fact -1 to hit will probably be a bit overpowered. But yeah, that's pretty good. This is excellent. So excellent, very good, good. Now you can rebase that scale however you like. Right, so Khorne, You got the Bloodletters, which I've talked about. You got Fleshhounds, which are movement 8, which are pretty quick. They are heavy cavalry again. So they're heavy cavalry. They've got 2 wounds each, which is really good. They've got light armor built in. All demons have a 5-up ward save. However, that ward save can't be taken against magical attacks. So demons have got to be really careful against stuff like chaos, because a lot of chaos warriors and so on and so forth have a rule called ensorcelled weapons, which means all their weapons count as magical. A lot of elves have weapons that effectively count as magical. So you just got to be a bit careful about your opponent and just, know that you're a bit more vulnerable to certain things, because essentially a lot of this doesn't really have armor. It's got the ward save, which is where it, and also we'll look at again later, but Nurgle, a lot of their stuff has a 5 or 6 up regen as well as the ward save. However, because they've got unstable, they can't take that that regen save against magical attacks, so they're sort of doubly vulnerable to magic. But anyway, Fleshhounds are 32 points. This is largely because they've got 2 wounds. The strength for, they're okay. They've just got hand weapons, 2 attacks, probably hitting on 3s, probably wounding on 3s or 4s, and then no AP. So they're, alright. If they charge, obviously they're strength 5. It's always worth bearing in mind. Bloodletters have Hellblades. Let's have a look at Hellblades first, because that gives you... so they're -1, they've got Cleaving Blow. So Cleaving Blow is basically 6 to wound, ignore armour and regen, but don't ignore ward saves. So what I'm thinking immediately is there a way that I can give Bloodletters more attacks? Or is this... So essentially, basically, do I want to lean into the core choices, or do I want to lean into the special choices? So is there any way of maximising these? Because movement 5 is good, but it's not that good. Do Fleshhounds have Swift Stride? They don't. So actually, their charge range is basically 14. They do have counter charge though. So they are going to be good on flanks. So if somebody's charging them with a unit of cavalry, you get to counter charge against them, which reduces their charge move. So you could hypothetically march these like 16 inches up, park them about 4 inches away from your opponent, and then when they charge you, you then roll your D3 for your counter charge. Oh no, you can't use it if you're in their movement characteristic. But you can give yourself initiative 7, which is alright, but most cavalry charging you will be at least that anyway. Yeah, I'm not sure how to wield them, to be honest. Blood Crushers on the other hand are dead easy. They've got light armour, they've got body, so they've got a 5-up save, they've got a 5-up ward, which is great. They've got a decent amount of wounds. They're quite high in terms of points, but they do have Swift Stride. They don't have counter charge though, which is annoying. They've also got Armoured Hide 1, so they've basically got a 4-up armour save, which is pretty good. They do impact hits, but they are impetuous. I think all Khorne is impetuous, isn't it? Yeah. So it's not frenzied. So frenzied means you must charge if you're in charge range, but you get a +1 attack, so that's good. With Khorne, you must charge if you roll a 1 to a 3 at the start of turn phase, which is a bit kind of rubbish because you don't get the extra attack, but whatever. Yeah, so Blood Crushers are good because of Swift Stride. So Swift Stride means that effectively you're quite likely to get that maximum 9-inch charge off. And the Juggernauts have lots of attacks at high strength. Remember again, that's strength 6 when they charge. Impact hits, remember they get +1 strength when they charge. The impact hits are at strength 6. And then you've got the Blood Throne, which can heal stuff, but not massively reliably. It's a heavy chariot, so its impact hits have AP 2. Friendly Demons of Khorne reroll natural hit rolls of 1. So friendly demons of Khorne that made a charge. So it's not all hit rolls. I mean, that's probably. I mean, even your charging units, your cavalry isn't that quick. I'm going off Khorne. I'm not sure that this is any good. Then got a cannon, which sticks to cannon fire. It's a weak cannon with a short range. I mean, yeah, I'm not sure Khorne are any good at all, to be honest. Okay, so Khorne's troops aren't very good. They're a bit kind of underwhelming. I don't know how to build this list then. I think let's take a big block of like 20 blood letters. Like that. You could have an icon. Let's take 2 units of flesh hounds because they're a bit rubbish. But mainly because they've got the vanguard move, so they get like a pre-game move to get into no man's land and maybe cause some problems. There we go. So we've paid the 25% core tax. In this case, I think it is a tax. Where's Blood Crushers? There they are. They're not going to last very long. You don't want a champion because that basically allows your opponent to annoy you by doing challenges. I think you need quite a lot of these units. Let's try 3 of them. Basically, the current comp set of rules means that. And then, might as well have 2 skull cannons then. Oh no, we're over points with 2. Right, let's get rid of 1. Yeah, in fact, let's get rid of the other one. I think Blood Crushers, because of the impact hits and stuff, they're the way of actually doing a lot of damage. Everything causes fear, by the way, apart from the Bloodthirst, which causes terror. Right, so what magic stuff, magic artifacts have we got that makes them better? Because that's what we need to do, really. Okay, so D3 combat res, that's good. Locus only, D3 fewer. I mean, that's not very useful for this list. +1 leadership is okay. Furious charge is alright for a massive unit of skull crushers, but like otherwise, furious charge is +1 attack on the charge. -1 modified to casting rolls is okay. There's nothing that gives them frenzy, which is a bit weird. Can attempt dispelling. 5 at ward. Do they have a... Oh, is the demon ward a 6 at ward then? Have I misread that? I thought it was a 5 at ward. Where is it? Oh, 5 at ward that was caused by... Okay, so it's a 5 at ward and they still get it against magical attacks. Okay. 40 points though for that. That's a lot. Axe of Khorne. +1 strength. AP1. Killing blow. Meh. +1 strength. Meh. It's already quite strong. Colour of Khorne. Improves its magical res by 1. That's interesting. +1 attack. No armor save. Ooh. Ether blade's nice. Yeah. I mean, that's a bit rubbish. It's like, you know, your characters have pretty high toughness anyway. Because if you look, I don't know how to make this good actually. So the great, okay, great axe is extra points, right? So let's buy that because we want that because it's cool. So we've got the great axe, which is basically makes him strength 8, i.e. 9 on the charge, AP 3 with armor bane 2, monster slayer, which is epic, so with 6 attacks, weapon skill 10. You're probably going to be taking the head off a lot of dragons. Monster slayer basically means if you roll a 6 to wound, then and the enemy's a monster, then it's auto dead. It gets a ward save, but if it fails the ward save, it's just dead. Internal favour is if it loses around a combat, it loses 2 fewer wounds, basically. It's already got magic res 2. It's already pretty good, actually. Gets impact hits. How many? D3, strength 6 or 7 on the charge. AB2. That's nice. Does it have a stomp? Right. Doesn't have any stomps, obviously. It has the demonic charge rule. What's that? Demonic. Oh, is that part of its actual scroll? Here we go. Oh, okay. So that's AP2 on impact hits. Cool. Right, and it's got furious charge, so it's +1 attack on the charge. Yeah, it's pretty good. But like, you look at the demonic. Oh, that's why I didn't do that in that list, isn't it? Because I'm looking at these, and I'm like, I don't know which are going to be good. Like, you can make it strength 10 on the charge, which would be quite cool. But like, that really just affects like toughness 6 to 7 stuff. And the point is, toughness 6 to 7 stuff will be like monsters, and you've already got essentially Monster Slayer because of the Great Axe. So like, you don't really care about that. You're looking for 6s. The rest are a bit rubbish. It's already got heavy armor anyway, so that's a very hefty upgrade to make its ward work against magic. Yeah. I think I'd go many arms, give it an extra attack, but that's about it really. And we want Banner of Unholy. We actually want Totem of Eternal War probably. Yeah. Yeah, we want Totem of Eternal War. I want to put the Skull Totem in there somewhere. Yeah, I can put the Skull Totem in here. I can put the Eternal War here, and then put it on a Blood Throne. Am I over points yet? No. Blood Throne, the reason I'm putting it on a Blood Throne, I think is optimal, is... Why am I doing that? Where's the thing gone? There's a reason. What the hell was it? Where's the Blood Throne gone? Here we go. So that's pretty helpful, but not massively. Mainly because it gives it an extra 4 wounds, I think. That's pretty much it. And it makes it have an armor value of 4, so it's got an armor save of 4, which is pretty good. There was some other reason that I noticed a bit ago, and I can't remember why. Yeah, okay. I think that's pretty much it in terms of the list. We've got 20 odd points left. Can I give one of these? Let's go. Oh, what do I want to do? Let's do champions on all the blood crushers. I don't like to do this because it's probably not a good idea, but whatever. There you go, 2,000 points. So essentially how this list works is you've got this big block of 20 blood letters that kind of sit in the middle of the table. You've got 5 flesh hounds that both vanguard out. You've then got 3 units of blood crushers that can either all take one flank and essentially go out. So you can have your blood letters here, your blood crushers to go out and then smash round. I think MSU with blood crushers is good because they're on big bases anyway. They do lots of attacks. They're quite deadly. They've got impact hits, and also so what that means is that if somebody charges you, you know, you can take a hit, and then you've got 2 other units to counter charge them, not with the counter charge rule afterwards. So yeah, I think that's a pretty good Khorne list, although I don't know, I get the sense actually that you want a big massive list with like tons of blood letters, because I think that could be quite good, especially with like the totem of... I just prefer blood crushers. I don't think there's much in terms of good choices. I quite like the totem of lose D3 fewer models, but you know, whatever. Okay, so that's Khorne. So this is the one that's good. Let's go for the one that's I think is that I think is less good in terms of the faction rule. However, in terms of the units they've got, freaking awesome. The interesting thing is actually for every other like greater demon, you can make Rotigus. You can actually make Kairos with the rules. You can make, I haven't got Shalaxi, but you can make Shalaxi. You can't make Scarbrand, which is annoying, but whatever. Okay, so we're doing Nurgle, so we want Herald. Shut up, you. We want Great Unclean One, Gwa. Let's call this lad Rotigus. Okay. Cool. Right. Let's pay the 25% tax. Plague Bearers are pretty good. What's the other option? Nurglings I really like. I think you probably need 2 of them. Right, so let's have a look at the units first. So come on. So I think the Bloodthirster is toughness 6, isn't it? Yeah, Bloodthirster is toughness 6. Keeper of Secrets is toughness 6. Lord of Change is toughness 6. So this is like one of the few toughness 7 models in the whole game. I think the other one's like the Steam Tank. And then you got a toughness 10 Dwarf Lord with a shield, which is cool as hell. So you got Demonology. That's the one that buffs you. Ooh. How did I do that? Weird. You've got Battle Magic, which is the one that kind of buffs your units. You got Dark Magic, which arguably is slightly better. Rotigus is going to be a level 4 wizard, ain't he? That goes without saying. And it's interesting though, because like Khorne don't have wizards, so the Bloodthirster there is 400 points, and it's pretty basic. This one's now 420. I think. So Battle Magic. Ooh, you got Hammer Hand, haven't you? That's pretty good. 2d6 strength 4 AP, 2 hits. Arrow Traction's pretty rubbish. Reserve move. Oh no! Is not fleeing and has already moved. It's not, which isn't reserve move. Arcane Urgency is really good because you can basically march again, so you can march twice. So it's really good. Whereas reserve move, you have to just move, and then you can move again at the end of the shooting phase. Open Shield is alright, but they've already got a 5 at ward against more or less everything. Curse of Cowardly Flight is actually a really useful spell for like lower points level games, but I think Dark Magic's probably the one. Yeah, long range debuff. You've got a Stream of Corruption. Yeah, you've got to have that because it's Stream of Corruption, isn't it? Massive Vomit. Like, it's just thematic. You've got to do that. Right, okay. So let's finish off the 500 points for core units, because again, I don't think Nurgle's. Oh yeah, you got Palanquins as well. Palanquins are just great. It's like 40 points for an extra 4 wounds. Like, who the hell wouldn't do that? It's so good. So this guy goes on a Palanquin. And we probably want another Herald of Nurgle, because what you can do is you can make him Sloppity Ballpiper just by taking the thing. That's cool, isn't it? So we've got a Sloppity Boppity. Right, the Sloppity's cool. Right, so Plague Bearers, the toughness 4, which is, I think, the best of all. So that's a pretty good toughness. They've got Plague Swords. What do Plague Swords do? They do Armor Bane 1, but you can't take regen saves against them, which is pretty limited in terms of its scope, but, you know, whatever. And they've got Demons of Nurgle, so you got to reroll 6s to hit, which can be sort of okay, but not. They've also got regen 6, so they've got a 5 up save, and they've got 5 up ward, and then they've got a 6 up regen. They don't have any armor. They've got poisoned attacks. So if there's anything that you can do to give them extra attacks, that would be good. However, there isn't. Beasts of Nurgle are just great. They're just wonderful. They're just monstrous infantry, 4 wounds. They're quite cheap at 62 points for something that's toughness 5. They got 5 up regen. They got this slime trail thing, which means they can't be flanked or hit in the rear. Like, you don't get combat res for it. The -1 AP, armor bane, strength 4, d6 +1 attacks. So they're really good. Even if they get beat in combat, they reduce the amount of wounds they lose by 1. They're just fantastic. I really like them. I think they're great. And movement 5 is not slow. It's okay. Nurglings have got 7 wounds, which is just great. And there's 3 of them on a base, so they're basically 15. So they're basically 15 points. So it's more or less 2 points a wound, which is just great. Plague drones get fly. What do they get? Fly 9. Yeah, so they get fly 9, so they're really quick. Actually. They got swift stride, so they're actually quicker than you think, because they got an 18-inch charge, 9-inch move, plus 9 from the swift stride max, so 18 inches is really good. They're not amazing in combat, if I'm being honest, but you know, whatever. Rock flies have hand weapons. They can upgrade to having venom stings, which is 1 attack with this. I don't know why you do that, because like they've got armor bane 2 anyway. It just makes their AP more regular for 1 out of 3 of their attacks, but for the extra points cost, it's an extra 6 across the whole thing. Would you take Plague Proboscis? It's only +1 initiative, gets you up to 3. Like, I'm not sure that's really worth it, but whatever. So yeah, I think the special and rare choices for Nurgle are where it's at in terms of value for points. So we just need to get this unit of Plague Bearers up to snuff. Actually, I want another unit of Nurglings, because we've got 4 points missing. 21. Let's do that. I know I said. Are any of these icons any good? That's the question, isn't it? Because if they are good for an infantry, then we'll probably do one of them. +1 combat res to a max of 3. Isn't plus D3 just the standard one? Yeah. Banner on Holy Victory. The unit can't take it though, can it? Because it's above the 50-point limit. Reroll. Yeah, that's okay. This one's weird. Rotten Icon. It's you don't get a bonus combat res for being in the rear, but you do in the flank. Like, I just don't get it. Right, okay, let's talk about this stuff. So, you got Sloppity Boppity, which gives +1 move, which is alright. You've got the Spoil Prox Shrivner, which is the one with the big scroll. One within range, reroll hit rolls of 1. That's awesome. Yeah, no, you don't want Sloppity, you want Scrivener, don't you? So what we want is we want a Scrivener, and we want to give it Demonic Locus. So that's going to sit behind these guys basically and give them like reroll 1s. You don't want it in the unit because it could get challenged out, but that gives that unit reroll 1s, which is really, really good, because if you do like a 7 Nurgle thing unit, that's pretty good. Yeah, because that's a demonic gift, isn't it? I don't think the banners are really that good. The plus D3 combat res is good, but it allows the thing to get, you know, he's going dark magic. The herald we've not given anything. This other herald that's on the palanquin. Do we want to get, because this is the one that's going to go in the unit, so you can put monstrous cav in a unit. It just takes up like the space of 4 models. And I think it can still be targeted by shooting. Not sure on that. Right. Trappings of Nurgle, that's a must for Rotigus, because it just basically gives him a 4-up armor save, which is pretty good. Right, what are we on to? Well, we've got loads of points. Oh, we haven't done any of the special stuff yet, have we? Yeah, I think I might have spent too much on core units. What can we take for special? In fact, all of it's special, isn't it? So we want Beasts of Nurgle, they're coming units of 2. We want 2 of them at least, and then we want some plague. Where are they? Plague drones. Again, I'm not sure about command grouping these. Maybe you want a champion, I think. They're not going to run away, so there's no point with musicians. Not sure about that. Can I take another? No, I can't. I'm going to have to drop something to take another. I can drop some plague bearers. Right, let's drop that plague bearer unit down to 14. See what that does. Yeah, I've got plenty of points now for some more plague drones because they're wicked. Oops, I just removed it. Plague drones, I think a champion, and let's duplicate that. Yeah, so we've got 20 points left. Death's Heads, they're cool. Yeah, I think that's about it. So I've got 10 points left. Is there anything for 10 points that I can buy? Of course there isn't, because that would be helpful. Thanks, G-Dub. Oh no, Rotten Icon. Oh, well, you can take a Rotten Icon. I've given them a banner bearer, so whatever. Let's take a Rotten Icon, because it gets some 2k. Okay, so you got Rotigus, which is him. You can't really make him do the cool thing that he normally does, but whatever. You got a level 4 wizard, which you kind of need. He's got a lot of wounds. I mean, he's going to take a lot of killing now. Rotigus is a bit tougher than a normal Great Unclean one, so I suppose that's probably the 4-up save is a bit reflective of that, maybe. I don't know. Anyway, he's got 7 wounds. He's now got a 4-up armor save. He's got a 5-up regen save. He's got a 5-up ward save. So, in his toughness 7. So, he's going to take a lot of killing. Oh, no, I haven't given him a weapon, have I? Let's call his big stick a plague flail. Oh, no. Bile sword. Regen saves are not permitted. Yeah, okay. Let's call his big stick a big stick. Let's call his big stick a bile sword. So we need to get rid of that rotten icon. That's a better. Yeah, it's better spend for 10 points. Okay, so he's now okay in combat. Like 5 attacks, weapon skill 6 is all right, strength 6 is all right, AP 2's excellent. He's probably going to strike last. Oh, he's initiative 4, so strike last is a bit of a problem, but whatever. And he can do some cool spells. Then you got a couple of heralds, one of which goes in, the other one doesn't, hides behind. You got a quick unit of plague bearers, like 14, just to kind of sit in the middle of the field and just take up space. You've then got a lot of Nurglings, because that's a really cheap. Oh no, 45 points per base, not 45 points per unit. Oh, I'm an idiot. I'm doing this AOS style, aren't I? Oh, so they're not 2 points a wound. They're like 6.5. Oh, it's not that cheap, really, is it? No, I don't want that many Nurglings, actually, if that's the case. I'm sorry, I didn't think that through. I didn't do the maths properly. I do want some, just to kind of get in the way. But then... There we go. Actually, can I go back down? Oh no, I need to make it 500 points, don't I? Yeah, I think that's even better, isn't it? You got this massive block of, which is 7 times 4, 28 plague bearers. You can put the they put this guy in there and make a huge, like, unkillable block in the middle of the table. You got some Nurglings just to faff about with and just be annoying, basically. You've got some beasts running around and just causing problems because that's what they do, and then you got some plague drones to try and hit hard, but probably just sort of, it's long. Everything is about gumming up your opposition, and these are kind of long range gum ups rather than it's like a all the way over there. So that's Nurgle again. Oh no, I've got 78 points left. What am I going to spend that on? Another beast? Okay, I can take a unit of 3 beasts. Could I drop? Have I got 10? Right, actually, I'm going to be controversial. I'm going to remove that. I think this is where the value is. There. Then we can give them the stupid rotten icon again. Right, okay, there we're up to. So we've got a couple of heralds, we've got a Rotigus, we've got some plague bearers, we've got some Nurglings to sort of protect one flank, we've got beasts to protect another flank of the plague bearers to stop them from getting flanked. We don't care if we get charged in the rear because of the rotten icon, and then we've got units of plague drones to try and do a bit of business. But then looking at that list, I don't know how that would deal with a high elf on Demon Prince. I just don't get it. Like, there's not a lot that it can do against that. So Nurgle are going to struggle in a tournament. I don't think they've got the tools to really deal with that, unless my opponent stupidly charges into this, in which case he'll spend all game not really doing a lot. But it's quite an expensive model that just does that. So what's the assailment like for dark magic? Rubbish. Well, I mean, it's a vomit spell, isn't it? I mean, yeah, it's pretty cool. No, sorry, I say rubbish. It's not rubbish. It's a really, really, really good rule. However, like, it's situational. So what you can do with it, you can basically vomit through the unit that you're in combat with, and vomit over another unit like over there. So you could have 2 units like this, but instead of putting the vomit there, it doesn't say it has to go straight over it. It just says it has to go caster's base edge, and the broad end is over a unit. So like, you've got this kind of cone. So if you've got 2 units that level up perfectly like that, you could just put it straight over there. I mean, and the broad end is over a unit they're engaged in combat with. Like, doesn't mean straight. So there's a way of using that to, you know, be a bit annoying. Oh, and Battle Lust is really good. Yeah. That's how. Sorry, I've been really thick. That's how. I knew I was thinking about that, because I did say earlier, giving plague bearers an extra attack. Frenzy and hatred all enemies. Because if you imagine, like, those 7 guys in the front rank, 7 plague bearers, they then have 14 attacks, probably hitting on 4s, re-rolling hits, 6s auto wound, so they can actually do some work. Oh, there's another assailment. Single strength 3 hit, multiple wounds, no armor save. Not sure about that. Okay, so that's Nurgle. Again, it's not that good, but I'm not happy with that. I'm not sure how I'm going to deal with, like, how if I had that list. Which do I have all those models? I don't have all the plague, the drone things. I've got everything else. I've got loads more plague bearers, but I've not got the drones. Demons. I'm going to do Tzeentch last because it's just nuts. This, however, is cool AF, right? So this is all about, as it should be, it's all about the Keeper of Secrets. Right? We need a Herald. Not that. Go away, you. We're only that one Greater Demon. We need a Herald. We need some... You want some Demonettes. Demonettes are freaking awesome, right? 30 of them. And you want a full command group. They're good. They are seriously good. And you're also allowed, if you're Slaanesh, some Seekers. So you want 2 little units of this, just to essentially run around, deal with chaff units, essentially act a bit like chaff units, but also just be annoying. Fiends are very good, but you only really want 1 unit, because they're not something that you want to spam. They're just very good, and they do 1 job, and I'll talk about that in a sec. You've then, in terms of also special units, you've got, which one is it? It's Hellflayers, I think, are very good, and Seeker Chariots are less good. And then, is that it? Just Hellflayers and Seeker Chariots? Is it the Hellflayer that I want to spam? Yes. Yes, it is. Yeah. I want to spam the Hellflayer. Right, so there we go. We're up to... So we've got the level 4 Keeper, we've got the Herald, we've got the core tax paid, we've got a lot in special units, and we've got 3 Hellflayers. So let's talk about why and what the hell all this is designed to achieve. Now, can take illusion, but you can't guarantee Phantasmagoria, right? And that's the thing I think that people want. So I'll just talk to... Not Phantasmagoria, Spectral Doppelganger. 2d6 hits at its normal attack profile, right? You've got to roll the spell, and if you're rolling 4 out of 6 spells, it's not massively likely. The Law of Demons. Oh, we haven't talked about that, have we? That's a bit rubbish. That's pretty cool, because you can remove an enchantment from an enemy unit. Short range, though, but you can remove an enchantment. And that's a hex, so you have to do it in your strategy phase. So 2d6 hits at its base weapon. It's about here, I think. Oh, so close. So that's strength 6, AP2, 2d6 strength 6 AP2 hits. Thank you very much for a spell. Oh, lovely. It's got movement 8, which is just insane. It's got swift stride. So you've got this thing right has a 17-inch charge move, and guess what it does? It does. It does 6 attacks, a weapon skill 6, strength 6, AP2 with killing blow and strike first. Like that's the Impaling Claws. If you give it magic weapons, it loses Impaling Claws. You don't want to lose Impaling Claws. They're just freaking awesome. What can you give it in terms of magic stuff to make it even better? Because if you think you can amp this thing up to like 11 and make it so good. Now, you want an Infernal Enrapturous because it makes your icon. So if you take this thing, make it a locus and give it Infernal Enrapturous. It's got a 12-inch aura. You stick the Keeper Secrets near it. Keeper Secrets gets +1 to cast. Great. You can make this level 2 as well. Great. We've got loads of points left in Heroes, so don't worry about that. Siren Song is such a trolley thing. I'm just reading these because I've forgotten what they do. Allure of Slaanesh is pretty good, but not massively reliable. Soporific Musk is again pretty good, but you've already got strikes first, so you don't really need it. Enrapturing Gaze, absolutely wonderful, right? So we definitely want that. Enrapturing Gaze, beautiful. Because what that means is you can't use your Inspiring Presence of your general, so you can't use your general's leadership if this is in combat. So it's just like a perfect, it can hit a unit of chaff, it can break through, it can hit your other unit, break through that, and just keep going. It's just an absolute nightmare to deal with, because you can't use your general's leadership. That would only be like, I would pay 50 points for that to be, and also can't use Battle Standard Bearer stuff. Oh, I've screwed up the focus on the camera. Apologies. You now see me in blurriness, but, whatever. I'm not that pretty. But Banner of Acquiescence is pretty good, but it's 55 points. So the problem with it being 55 points is that you got to put it on an icon, and you don't really want your icons in units. That's something that's like all demons as a special rule, not as a special rule, but as a general principle. You don't want your battle standard bearer in units because they don't really add to combat res in the same way. What they do is they stop you from losing less models, so you don't want them to be in the firing line. Rapture, oh yeah, you definitely want that. That's brilliant. Rapture standard on that, yes please. Yeah. So it makes a disordered charge, so they don't get their initiative bonus, which is just great. So they don't get their +3 to initiative. So you're probably actually striking first because you've got a pretty decent initiative. I think 5 is pretty good. Like, there's not a lot that's got more than 5. Right, Fiends. Why do we only take 1 unit? Because they do this. They cancel off an enemy unit's strike first rule. Your enemy is going to likely have 1 unit that has strike first, right? And then he's going to charge that into combat with something, and then you want your Fiends nearby so they can go and then flank it, turn off strike first, right? And that's what they do. They just turn off strike first. They're pretty good, like toughness 4 and 3 attacks and 3 wounds, you know, but they do die quite quickly because they've got no armor. They've got the generic demonic 5 at ward, but like whatever. Health layers, why do we want to spam these? Strength 4, toughness 4 doesn't look good. 4 wounds, that's a lot of points for that stuff. However, movement 9, right? Swift stride, so that's a 9-inch, probably an 18-inch move. However, if you've got the Slaanesh thing, 19-inch charge move, just great. And then it gets to do 2d6 plus 1 impact hit. So it does 2d6 plus 1 hits, strength 4, just hits, right? It's got a relatively small base. So even if you smash that into a big unit of infantry, you turn off their rank bonus, you do 2d6 plus 1 impact hits, which probably kills so much that your opponent can't fight back. You know, it's just great. I'll just check Seeker Chariot, make sure it's not that one. No, okay. So, and then you got like, how many steeds? You got 2 steeds with poison attacks. You know, it's pretty good. There is the Exalted Seeker Chariot. That's just a mount. Yeah, you don't want that. It's not that good. It's the only heavy. It's a heavy chariot, so you get D6 plus 1, strength 4, AP 2, impact hits. But like whatever, like 185 points again. Toughness 4, 6. I mean, it's pretty good as a mount, but you know, whatever. You don't want that. You do desperately want the Infernal and Rapturous though, because it doesn't just give you +1 to cast, it also gives enemy wizards within cast command range -1 to cast. So that will accompany your infantry as it goes up the table, but it's not going to you know, take over from infantry. Why won't this thing focus on my face again? Let's see if I can drag the focus back. I think that's worked. Right. Yeah, that's Slaanesh. Now, you might be being slightly underwhelmed because you're thinking, oh no, I've got loads of spare points, haven't I? What am I going to do? I can't take any more health layers. I could take another unit of Seekers, I suppose. No, bugger that. Let's do... No, I can't do a Demon Prince. Can I do another Herald? Yeah, I can. Can I make it like a backup wizard? No. I've given that Locus. I don't really want to do that though. No, I just want more Demonettes actually. Let's go 40. Yeah. 40 Demonettes. That's good. Just a big, massive block to get in the middle of the table to essentially take your opponent's attention away from the rest of the army. I think that's pretty optimal. And you got this amazing Keeper of Secrets, which is actually just level 4 demonology with this thing that stops you from using your opponent's general's leadership. Now, the other thing, which, you know, combined with its terror, right, you -1 to save, so it's really good at taking on massive blocks of infantry. Now, what demonology gives you, though, right, this, which is a leadership debuff. This, which is a really good assailment, 2d6 strength, 2 hits, no armor save, so a few wounds come through that. That's the way that you deal with like dragons and shit. It's already pretty good at dealing with dragons on its own, because, you know, as we've identified, it's got like pretty good strength, it's got pretty good number of attacks, it's got AP2 already, it's got armor bane, like it hasn't got armor bane, sorry, I'm lying. It's got AP2, which is already pretty good. It's got strike first anyway, you know. The problem is, if it charges into the dragon, is it going to kill it? Or probably not. Unless you get some cool spells. Now, the cool spells are Demonic Vessel, +1 strength, +1 attacks, improve AP by 1. Right? So you need to get this. This is important for killing dragons. Now, you're level 4, and if you're near the Enrapturous, you need a 5 or more on 2 dice to cast. That's likely going off. Not guaranteed, but likely going off. That means your attacks are 7 now. Your weapon skill is 8. That's the same as the High Elf Prince. And your AP goes to 3, which means his 4-up save becomes a 5-up. So you've got 7 attacks, which are hitting on 4s, probably 4 hit. They possibly wound. If you get the other Demonic Vigor, +1 movement, toughness, and initiative. So you've got +1 strength, attacks. Right? Oh no, sorry, you don't get +1 weapon skill. Strength and attacks, and AP. So your strength. So you're wounding on, hitting on 4 still, wounding on 3. So 4 hit, 3 wound. He saves probably 1, and then he ward saves none, and then he regen saves probably 1. So you're doing 1 wound and then dying, right? But then if you get +1 movement, toughness, and initiative, okay, movement goes up to 9. Swift stride means you got an 18-inch charge, +1 for Slaanesh, 19-inch charge. So you're charging further than anybody in the game, apart from your Seekers and stuff. Seekers are like unit 9, so they got swift stride. So they've got it's only a 19-inch charge for them as well. I mean, it's just insane. With this list, basically, you don't have to worry about the demon prince. I'm just thinking it through. You don't have to worry about the prince on the dragon, because you can just outmaneuver him. You just kill the rest of his army, and then basically all he's going to do is have this dragon with a prince on it left in the middle of the table, probably embroiled in this unit of unbreakable demonettes, probably killing like, you know, 6 or 7 a turn. Something like that, maybe 8, and then some are breaking. But because you've got your herald nearby, you're probably only losing like 12, 13 a turn. So he's got 3 combat rounds of combat trying to beat this bloody unit. First turn you can just challenge him with your champion, so the champion just dies. So he's probably going to take 4 rounds of combat to kill the big unit of demonettes. Possibly 5 or 6, actually, depends on how he rolls. And that's the only unit he's going to reliably be able to charge, because everything else you can just keep out of range. So it's just great. And then the Keeper of Secrets can just smash up big blocks of infantry. It's so quick for what it does. So quick. Like, I think the High Elf Dragon's only got movement 9, so it's got an 18-inch charge. This can, you know, essentially add 1 to its move because of a spell, so that's 9. +1 to charge because of Slaanesh, so that's 10. Swift stride, 19. You know, it's great. See, that, and I know it's only an extra inch, but that extra inch is enough to guarantee that you get the charge and they don't. And remember as well, if they like put their dragon in the way so you can't charge their block of infantry, just move around it, and then he can't charge you because his vision arcs, you know, and then you can line up your monster in line with their infantry, so then he has to move his dragon prince back again just to get in the way, right? And if basically your high elf opponent is spending all their time sticking their dragon in between your Keeper of Secrets and their biggest block of infantry, that's great. You know, it's great news. So yeah, I've not fed the dog, no. Cool. So that's that. We've been going an hour already. Right. So that's Slaanesh. I'm really excited about that list because I think the keeper's awesome. I think it's so quick and manoeuvrable. You're going to be able to essentially really frustrate your opponent and get the charges off where you want them to be. And I think in terms of how you win a game of Warhammer Fantasy, it's all about outmaneuvering your opponent. That's it, really. Cool. So the last thing to talk about is Tzeentch, and Tzeentch is my favourite out of all of them because basically everything's a wizard. Right, we are going to be building Kairos because the rules allow you to. So we need a Lord of Change, we need a Herald, it's going to be the Locust, we need, what can we take? Pink horrors are great, we want them, we want blues, probably want brims, and then we want to make that 18 because pinks are pretty cool. We probably want to make that 18 as well because they're cool. In fact, let's just make them all 18. No, actually, let's not do that with brims. Brims are chaffy and it's just getting in the way. Right, so let's duplicate that. Ooh! That's weird. Why Brimstone Horrors 342 points? That's not true at all. Something's gone wrong there. This system says broken. Brimstone Horrors. Yeah, they're that much. 2? I think there's been a cock up in the software here. How much are they actually? 38. Oh, they're swarms. They're swarms. Yes, that's why it doesn't make sense. Okay, so 2. Okay, fine. Yeah. Well, let's duplicate that. Nice. Nice. Okay, so that's what we want, and then we probably want some. Let's remember what's cool. No. We want the chariot things, don't we? For reasons I will talk about in a sec. Screamers are a bit naff. I won't bother with them. Where's the Exalted Flame of Chariot thing? Is that gone? I thought that was in there. Chariot of Tzeentch. Chariot of Tzeentch may only be included as a mount. Burning Chariot of Tzeentch. There it is. Yeah, I thought it was a thing. Yeah, Burning Chariot of Tzeentch is definitely a thing. Where the freaking hell is it? It's not here. Ugh. I can't really do the video then. They missed the bloody unit. Oh, it's there. Is it always rare? It's not always rare. That's not true at all, is it? I thought it became special under Tzeentch. Flamers and screams. Oh my god, it's always rare. No, I've got that completely. I've misread that. Sorry. Right. So my confusion and incompetence to one side. We definitely want. How many can we get for 402? Right. Okay. Oh no, we want level 3 wizards. So yeah, we can have 2. Nice. So that's. Where's the? Where have they gone? Didn't I? That's odd. Right. Let's have 2 of them. Duplicate. Nice. Right. Okay. And then we're getting there. And then we want some flamers. This is like a proper gunline army, right? Now, why flamers are so cool, right? Flamers you want as like a unit of like 9. Because you want a big unit to contain the wizard in. Oh, 6 is the maximum, is it? Is that right? I think I've not remembered a lot of this stuff from when I read through the list. Chariot is each as a model. Flamers 3 to 6. Okay, fine. That's why they've already thought this through. I think you've got to take both champion upgrades in order to get the champion upgrade. Pyroclaster, yeah, so you've got to upgrade it to a Pyroclaster, and then you upgrade the Pyroclaster to an Exalted Flame, which is champion, and blah 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 blah. That gives you another wizard, right? So that other wizard, then you can make a level 3 like that. And then where are we up to points wise? So we got 200 points left. Okay, and then we need some extra buffy stuff for the characters, so that's alright. We can always get rid of some of these blue horrors, I think, to get us down a few points. But anyway, so we've got the flamers, we've got the 2 massive characters. Now, what we've got here is we've got a level 3 wizard, another level 3 wizard, we've got another level 3 wizard, we've got a lord. Oh no, I've got to pay for him. Oh, okay, so he's already level 2. So we've got a level 4 wizard, we've got a herald who's a level 3 wizard. So we've got like, how many level 3 wizards have we got? Like 1, 2, 3, 4, and then a level 4. With this guy, I don't know what spell lore to take with him actually. With this guy, give him twin heads, which makes him Kairos. What does twin heads do, I hear you ask? Twin heads gives you an extra spell, which is pretty good. Now, the question is though, really, do you want to give it twin heads, or do you want to give it this? May reroll a single d6 once per round, so you get to reroll. You get 5 command point rerolls per game. Like, I think that's pretty good because of all the magic you're casting. I think Will of Tzeentch is much better. Twin heads is characterful, so if you want to, because you know, Kairos has 2 heads. You can see. Oh, there they are. But the Will of Tzeentch is a much better rule, so we want to build that into the list. We've not got much left in terms of points. We do want the Banner of Change. No, we don't. We want the Icon of Sorcery for a unit of pink horrors. Okay. So let's add that in. Right, and then we can get rid of some blue horrors. Nice. Still got 50 points spare. Let's give it a Tzeentchian wand, just to make it a bit better and give it a missile attack. And this, how many points we got left? We've got 30 points left. What's Iridescent Corona do? Is that any good? What about the generic demonic stuff? They can't take magic icons though, which is a bit annoying. 30 points. Oh, it's only standard. None of these are 30 points or left. Oh, absolutely so annoying. Right, well, we'll fix all that later. This video's already gone for too long, really. I'd like mine to be about an hour. So anyway, what you've got here is just so much magic, like more magic than that anybody else will ever be able to take. It's just ridiculous. The other thing to bear in mind as well is that the pink horrors also are a spell, but they're a bound spell. So the pink horrors, they're allowed one of the Tzeentch spells from down below as a bound spell equal to the unit's current rank bonus. Now the reason we've taken quite a few of them, 18, is so we can make sure that we get a rank bonus of 2, because yeah, they got Flames of Tzeentch, which are a pretty decent missile weapon, but actually so they got 3 they got 2 attacks each. They got flaming, quick shot, which means they can move and shoot, and they can always stand and shoot. The strength 3, so they're a bit rubbish. However, as a bound spell, they can either cast Gift of Mutation, which is, you really want to be casting on a 12, which is it's a hex, minus D3 to, you know, whatever. But you really want Pink Fire with them, because especially if they got like a 2 rank bonus, that means essentially they need to roll a 4 to cast it. Plus demons, so they don't get +1 to cast because of the Demon of Tzeentch rule, because it's a bound spell and they're not a wizard. But anyway, D3 +3 strength 3 hits with no AP. So that's like your iridescent horror casting this thing to make the pinks even better. Pink horrors don't have any like weird split and split again rules. That's just an AOS and 40k thing. That's not a fantasy thing. Don't think it ever has been, to be honest. But they're just, you know, they're pretty weak, so you don't really want anything getting in combat. Flamers have Warp Flame, which is Strength 4, 18 inch, AP 1, multiple shot D3, quick shot again, so they can move and shoot, which means they can march and shoot. And I think they got skirmishers, move through cover. So they got a 6 inch move, they can skirmish 12 inches, they've only got this 18 inch missile weapon. So essentially if you got 6 of them, that's like 12 shots, hitting on like 3s, because there's really going to be no negative modifiers. Strength 4, AP 1, you know, and then you've got a level 3 wizard in there, which I'd suggest that you probably want to take whichever one it is that's got a magic missile as the signature spell, not hammer hand. You want the magic missile as a signature spell. That's a hex, you don't want that. Which one is it? No, that's hammer hand. We just looked at that, idiot. Yeah, the summoning is pretty good. 2d6 strength 4 hits, AP 1. That's pretty good for the pink horrors, for the what do we call it? And then you've got these 2 burning chariots again, which have like all the shooty attacks of like an exalted flamer. So you've got Warp Flame, you've got just the one Warp Flame, mind, but you've got Warp Flame, you've got Flames of Tzeentch with the Blue Horror Crew. So you get an exalted flame, you get 3 Blue Horror Crews. That's the strength 3 stuff. You know, it's not very survivable, but it does a ton of damage, and again you get 3 spells, so it's going to be really difficult to wield this list. It's going to be like a really difficult like mental challenge to like get to grips with everything it can do. But in terms of the amount of magic that you've got a really effective bound spell from the pink horrors. You've got 4 spells coming out of the Lord of Change, you've got 3 coming out of the Herald, you know, which you could put on a burning chariot or just a normal chariot. We haven't got the points to do that. Put them on a disc. Why the hell not? Do all the things. You got a couple of units of swarms to just sort of get in the way and be a bit chaffy and redirect like charging units. And you got some blue horrors. I might actually take out the blue horrors and take some more brims, because the blue horrors are a bit rubbish. I can't remember what they do. I don't think they do anything that great. And then he looks at them and says, "No, swap the pinks for the blues." Blue. Where's blue horrors gone? Yeah, like the three fewer points, but like they're more or less the same apart from weapon skill. But who cares about that? And they've got Flames of Tzeentch, so they're just a cheap way of getting Flames of Tzeentch, but they don't get the scintillating sorcery rule. Yeah. I mean, actually, I don't know. I don't know which is, because if you had 18 of those, I've said that now, haven't I? They can't take a magic banner though, so they can't get plus. But they're just 2d6. Okay, I think pink horrors are still overall better. Maybe not in a big unit. Maybe the unit size needs to be the other way around. I know, because it's the rank bonus that gives extra to the bound spells, isn't it? So I think that's probably okay. Yeah. So we've got 2 shooty units, one that's very shooty and one that's not. There's a bit less shooty. We've got loads and loads of magic. I just think that's such a great list, and you'll have loads of fun at a tournament, as long as you can remember to do everything. But I think that the main problem is that you've got so many spell laws that you can take. It's going to be really difficult to, like, you know, that's got a shooting attack as well, but it's going to be so difficult to keep on top of, like, you know, Doom Bolt. Yeah, so you got a 24 inch like stone thrower spell. You know, there's so much that you can do with all the spell laws. Like, It's going to be a really difficult army to use. Oh, I so want to take it now. This is like right up my alley, like something that's really complicated and requires a lot of memory and just like... I really like the Slaanesh one though, because that's more about like outmaneuvering your opponent and just being super smart and a bit kind of like Khanate instead of not Khan as in like steppe cavalry, like just outmaneuvering your opponent. But anyway, I hope that's been a useful video, and I've sort of zipped through like building 4 armies. In terms of how this would deal with like a high elf or a chaos dragon, it would just, you know, blast it with spells. I mean, some's got to go through, right? I say that glibly, but I think there are enough spells that like don't allow armor saves that, you know, you probably roll a few of those. So if you set all the wizards to whatever lore it was that has a spell that says no armor saves, you could probably cast it like 4 or 5 times on them and just burn them down in maybe a turn or 2. So, you know, I think this is because of the flexibility of the magic. It's got the tools. The issue for me would be like what the tournament rules are in terms of choosing laws of magic. Most of them so far say you have to choose the law of magic when you're like selecting your army, which I think is a bit crap because that's not actually how the rules are written. The rules say, you know, but again, if that's what tournaments want to do, that's what they want to do, which makes it a bit more difficult to build an army list for a tournament. And so actually, if that's a limitation, this list isn't that good at tournaments, ironically, because, you know, you can't be flexible with your magic. You'd want to find a spell lord that has like a magic missile that, you know, stops like stuff like this, frenzy and hatred. That's useless because you're never going to be in combat. So, do you know what I mean? A Plague of Rust might be useful. I mean, Plague of Rust doesn't say it stacks, so you could like give them all elementalism and just get rid of a unit's army save by continually casting Plague of Rust on them, and then just blast them with lots of, you know, low strength attacks and hope some of it goes through. Or get a load of wind blasts, because, you know, if you cast that on a unit 5 times, you push it back 10 inches. That's pretty good. You know. So yeah, I think if you examine the spell laws, there's probably enough in there that can kill a dragon, but or stop it from doing what it needs to do. But if you're focusing on the dragon with this list, you're probably ignoring the rest of your opponent's list, and then that's the rest of it's going to kill you. So I think out of all of them, the Daemon of Slaanesh one is my favourite because you can just like totally outmaneuver your opponent. I think that the other thing with demons though is that whatever you pick, you're going to have to be smart in order to beat your opponent. But if you know what your list does whatever it does way better than everything else. So if you're Slaanesh, you outmaneuver everybody. If you're Tzeentch, you outcast everybody. If you're Khorne, you're way stronger than everything else that exists. And if you're Nurgle, your durability is a lot higher than everything else out there. So they all do one thing really, 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 really well. However, what they don't do is like everything. So from a tournament player perspective, I probably wouldn't actually take any of these because they couldn't beat all comers. Like, they'd be really difficult to get them to win against everybody. They don't have all the tools in every single one list, and there's not really a way of building. So for instance, like the Keeper of Secrets is a great like monster for killing units, right? So if you want to delete big units very quickly, Keeper of Secrets, that's definitely your boy. However, you know, nothing else in that Slaanesh does anything apart from sort of outmaneuver your opponent and sort of maybe, I don't know, it's all I don't know, I've not been to any tournaments yet, so I might be talking out of my posterior. But anyway, These are just my thoughts. If you've got this far in the video, I hope I've done enough to earn your subscription. If you've liked the video, there's a button for that, and I'll catch you around soon. So for now, toodle pip.